Hey everyone, Tristan back with another video, and welcome to the corner of my desk. This is a little bit of a different view. I kind of like to mix it up here occasionally. Let me know what you think of this view. But anyway, today we are reviewing and taking a look at this unit here. This is a portable headphone amplifier and DAC. It is by iFi and it is called the XDSD Gryphon. And this is it here. Basically what this is a portable headphone amplifier and DAC that can output up to 1 watt of maximum power, and it supports all of the digital audio formats all the way up to DSD. So this is a good evolution over their prior XDSD models in that it is an improvement, I believe, both in terms of power and just also overall sound and capabilities as well. The other thing is you can actually use this as just a straight analog headphone amplifier because it has both balanced and single-ended inputs as well right here. So you can actually plug this directly into some other source and just use this as a headphone amplifier if you want. However, most people will probably use this with a portable digital source, probably like your iPhone, Android phone, or maybe a portable audio player. And it does that just fine because it has USB inputs right here, and that's a USB-C input. And then when you do that, this thing will act as the internal DAC. Now, iFi always uses the Burr Brown internal DACs, which I really like those DAC chipsets. Burr Brown tends to have a really nice kind of warm sound signature, not sounding too harsh or anything like that. I definitely prefer the Burr Brown DACs over the Sabre ESS DACs. So that's also one plus for this device as well. Now the other thing is this also supports Bluetooth as well, and it supports all the Bluetooth formats all the way up to aptX and all that as well. So if you want to run this completely wirelessly over Bluetooth, although that won't be completely lossless, you can do that as well. So this really has a whole plethora of features. It also comes with a bunch of cables as well to plug into your portable device. So for instance, for the iPhone, you'll use this one, and this is a Lightning to USB-C cable. And I did not need the Apple, camera adapter or, audio output adapter, the Lightning to USB-C or anything like that to use with this. This plugs directly into the iPhone and then plugs directly into the Gryphon perfectly fine. And it, I don't have to use the Apple adapter. I think this is what they call MiFi certified or whatever you call that. So that works really well. And it also comes with the USB-C to USB-C adapter as well, if you're using it for other phones like Androids. Now this is a loaner unit, so I haven't even taken the little plastic off the display, and I'm going to leave that on here just out of courtesy to iFi. I'd like to thank iFi for sending me this out for a review. But this is it here, and as you can see, it has a really nice OLED display that dims when you're not using it. It will also display the format right here as well when you start playing music and the sample rate. So like if you're playing DSD or whatever, it'll display that as well right here. So it's got a nice display on it for sure, and it tells you a lot of information. Now the other thing is on the underside, this has what iFi refers to IEM match, and basically what this switch is it's kind of a gain switch, but it makes it so that it lowers the gain if you're using IEMs with this, which is really nice. That way you're not going to get any hiss or anything out of your sound. Also, it has settings for both single-ended IEMs or balanced IEMs, because this is a balanced headphone amplifier, so you can run this balanced. And you can see that right here on the outputs, you have both the 4.4 millimeter balanced outputs as well as the 3.5 millimeter single-ended or balanced output right here. So it is a balanced portable headphone amplifier. The other thing is, I understand this is MQA compatible, if that's your thing. I personally don't really like MQA, so I didn't test it with that, but it is MQA compatible. So let's go ahead and go through the different panels here. So starting on the left, here is the single-ended 3.5 millimeter or balanced output if you're running balanced, and here's the 4.4 Pentacon balanced output. And then you have a couple LEDs here signifying both your input and the sample rate as well. This is the volume knob, and also when you press it, that's how you'll turn it on and off. So you just hold it to turn it on and off, so you can see it went off there. And then if I hold that for a few seconds, it powers back on, as you see there. And as you see, it powered on pretty quickly as well. And then you also have something called X space and X bass. So when you press that, you can toggle those on or off either individually or have them both on. And their X bass is kind of a subtle analog bass boost, which sounds really nice. And actually it's a little bit more subtle of a bass boost than prior iFi portable setups that I've tested. So it sounds really good. It's not overly boomy or anything like that. And then X space is iFi's sort of version of a sort of a spatial expander in terms of the sound. It's supposed to widen the sound stage a little bit and give it a more nicer sound. I personally didn't care for it too much. I am a bit of a purist in that respect, so I generally ran it with just the X bass on, but not the X space on. So that would be like that. But your mileage may vary on that. You may really like that. It's just something that you can experiment around with. And so that's what that switch does. And then this switch, I believe, will toggle the Bluetooth and the inputs. So you can toggle that between SPDIF, line input, USB, even back to Bluetooth. So typically the way that I would have it is on USB, because I would plug that into my iPhone via USB. So going to the other panel, on the other side, what's a little bit interesting or odd about this is you also have an additional presence and bass switch here as well that you can play around with. So the middle is off, and then here is bass, and here is bass plus presence. So actually, I think this probably might be the analog one, and then this one over here might be the digital. I'm actually not 100% sure on that, because normally I just use this one in the middle. But actually, if anyone knows, go ahead and leave a comment on that. But this shows you that we really do have a lot of ability to kind of cater and tailor the sound to your personal liking. And then you've got the USB-C charge port here, where you would plug that into pretty much any USB, power adapter to charge it up, because it's got an internal battery, and that's your USB input right there. And then, as mentioned, you've also got analog inputs as well. And so, this has a really nice build quality. It fits nice in the hand. This is actually metal here. Prior XDSD models, I believe, had a more plasticky feel or plastic build quality. I mean, this part right here is plastic, but this part is metal. And I think with this, you are kind of getting a product that does, feel like what it costs, which is $599. And I think this unit sounds really pretty good. It's hard to kind of quantify that, but I found the tone of this really pretty engaging, especially with that X boost bass on. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, how does this compare with something like the Chord Mojo 2? And this will still have less digital taps than the Chord Mojo 2. So I think that the Chord Mojo 2 will probably still sound better than this, although this does have a little bit of a lower price point. And also the Chord Mojo and Chord Mojo 2 does not do balanced or MQA. So if you're looking for something that can do both of those things in a portable setup, I think the iFi XDSD Gryphon is something that you'll want to consider. In terms of the overall sound signature of it or anything like that, it's really hard to sort of quantify that. I think it just sounds really good. I can't say that it's like overly warm, but I also can't say that it's overly harsh or cold. I think that has a really good sound signature. If I would have to sort of describe a frequency response of it, I would have to say that maybe the mids are slightly recessed with this, because the highs are so resolving, and then the bass can be boosted as well. So that can tend to lead to a slight mid-recessed sound, but that doesn't mean the mids are actually recessed. It could just be that that's how it sounds, with the headphones that I was using. So yeah, overall, I think the sound quality of this is really good for the price charged. The other thing I forgot to mention is on the bottom, you do have some rubber feet here as well. So if you're putting it down on a table, if you're putting this like on a player, on top of a player, and you're putting like rubber bands around it or something to hold it together, you're not going to scratch what you're putting it on. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with the iFi XDSD Gryphon unit. I think it does perform at that price point for $599. And again, it does put out plenty of power for most headphones that you would want to drive with it. It puts out up to 1 watt of power. You'll be able to drive pretty much any headphones you want with this, except for the really extremely hard to drive headphones like the HiFiMan Susvaras or the HiFiMan HE6 headphones or something like that. The headphones that I used these with were the HiFiMan Aria Stealths, and then also I used them with my AudioQuest Night Owl Carbon headphones, and it did a very good job with both of those as well. I do have to say that the portable headphone market is sort of evolving fairly quickly, I think, with something like the Apple AirPod Maxes, although that's not lossless or even high res. The convenience factor on those is pretty high. And sometimes when you're traveling, you just want to grab a pair of headphones and your iPhone and head out the door, and you don't necessarily want to bring a third device like this. So that is something to consider. But if you're looking for something like this that is more audiophile, that can put out more power to drive hard to drive headphones on the go, and that can do all of the formats, including MQA and DSD, I think the iFi XDSD Gryphon is something that's worth your consideration. So thanks for watching this video. For any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. And if you thought this video was cool, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, give it a thumbs down. I'll see you in my next video, everyone. Take care.